Adam Trigger here, wagertalk.com. It's week 5 college football, and we're going to talk about one of the biggest games on the card for Saturday. That's Duke. That's Notre Dame. It's college game day, heading to Durham, North Carolina, and Notre Dame right back at it. Huge game last week against Ohio State. Really tough loss. Comes down to the final play. They end up on the wrong side of it. But if you're looking at, that game, extremely close game. Either team could have won it. It's hard to say that Notre Dame deserved to win or lose. It was just a really good football game, and Notre Dame ended up on the wrong side. Now, they turn right around and play a tough Duke team. 4-0, excellent start for Duke, coming off a blowout win. Mike Elko's done a tremendous job with this Duke program. He's always been sort of, lauded as a great defensive coach, but he's had an offense here as well with Riley Leonard. He's just a really good team. In this matchup, the way I kind of see this game playing out, and now that you've added this sort of layer of magnitude to the game with college game day, it's just a huge game. It really does feel like a big game. I see a slower game that probably plays under the total. So for Notre Dame, I mean, they're going to, they have a great offensive line. It would be shocking here if they don't just try to establish the run and run the ball. They were able to run it against Ohio State. And I feel like Notre Dame, why even give this Duke defense a chance to make a big interception, make big plays on defense and win the game that way when your offensive line is as good as it is? Feels to me like Notre Dame can get a push up front via their offensive line, establish the run, and sort of control the game that way. But if that's the case, it probably slows this game down. On the other side, Duke is probably going to need to run the ball because Notre Dame's pass defense is as good as there is. They're the toughest team right now to pass on in the country. They have, one of the best sort of secondary coverage units in America. And, as good as Riley Leonard has been, I don't know that he's just going to be able to sort of pick apart this Notre Dame defense, or that Duke wants to just go at this Notre Dame defense through the air as their sort of primary way of attacking this unit. So I could see Duke trying to run the ball to establish some sort of, being able to move the chains and keep the Notre Dame offense off the field. So I don't play a ton of totals, but in the early money certainly agrees here. I wouldn't be at all surprised if this ended up a similar type game to what Notre Dame played in last week, where maybe the first 1 to 20 wins, something like 23-17, 24-20, because it really does feel like a close game. As far as the side is concerned, I would have loved to make a case for Duke, but I would have wanted at least a touchdown. So even though I think Duke could potentially hang around, this number does feel short. And I think the spot, with Notre Dame now coming off the loss, maybe not the best time to jump in with Duke. So the play for this game for me is the under. I think both teams, the way that they're going to go at this game, makes sense that there isn't going to be a ton of scoring. You should see both teams try to run it, establish the run. And I think for that reason, it probably struggles to get up and over 50. So under Notre Dame Duke will be my selection for this game. And if you like all the free content, click on the other videos on the screen. And for all my football plays, head on over to wagertalk.com. Use coupon code TRIG100 for $100 off any season package at WagerTalk.